Imagine a Philippines that never was, not the islands of the history books, but a realm of legend. 1,000 islands, ruled by warring kings and queens, where priestess witches speak with the spirits of the dead, and where the oldest bloodlines command more than armies, they command monsters. This is the saga of the Bulawan Throne, the golden seat of power over all the isles. And like every throne worth having, it was built on three things: gold, blood, and beasts. Welcome to the Game of Thrones the Philippines never had. Long ago, the 1,000 islands were one. They were united under a single dynasty, the Gold-Blood of Butuan. And here is the strange part. Butuan was real. In our true history, it was an ancient kingdom of master goldsmiths and ocean-crossing barangay ships, its rulers laid to rest, draped in gold, trading with China and the kingdoms of the south. But in this legend, Butuan was something far greater. Its kings did not merely sail the sea and the sky, they ruled them, for the gold blood alone could tame the two great beasts of the islands. From the deep rose the Bakunawa, colossal serpents of the sea, the moon-eaters, whose coming could swallow a fleet whole or drag the very moon from the heavens. And from the high mountains came the Minokawa, dragon birds vast enough to blot out the sun, with talons of black iron and wings that pulled storms behind them. The two beasts were as different as the worlds they ruled. The Bakunawa were patient and cold, coiling leviathans that slept in the deep trenches and woke only for war, dragging whole islands into darkness when they rose. The Minokawa were their opposite, proud, screaming things of fire and storm that nested on the highest volcanoes and hunted from above the clouds. To bond with either was to be marked for life, and only those with the gold in their blood could ride them and live. For 100 generations, Butuan alone held that gift. With serpents in the water and dragons in the air, the gold blood of Butuan forged the 1,000 islands into a single realm. And they sat the Bulawan Throne, the throne of gold, and called themselves the Raja of Rajas, lords of every island under heaven. But no dynasty rules forever. When the last great ruler died without a clear heir, the gold blood split in two. One branch claimed the serpents of the sea, the other claimed the dragons of the sky. Brother turned against sister, and the bards would forever call what followed the Sundering. They say it began with a wedding that became a massacre. Two royal cousins, one promised the serpents, and the other the sky, each certain the golden throne was theirs by blood and by right. What began as a feast ended in fire. Neither side ever forgave the other, and for 30 long years the beasts boiled the seas and blackened the skies, until there were almost none of either left alive. Serpent against dragon, sea against sky. The same beasts that had built the realm now set it ablaze. Islands burned, fleets vanished beneath the waves, and when at last the smoke cleared, the Bulawan Throne sat empty, the gold blood scattered into exile, the great beasts hunted nearly to the last, and the 1,000 islands shattered back into 100 warring kingdoms. And that is where our story truly begins. Generations later, the golden throne still empty, the beasts only a memory, and every great house in the Isles hungry to claim what the gold blood left behind. These are the powers playing the game, and every one of them once truly lived. In the north, on the shores of a great bay, stand two ancient rivals divided by a single river. On one bank, Tondo, the old realm, proud, wealthy, and ruled by the revered line of the Lakan, lords whose name commands respect across every island. On the other bank, Maynila, younger, fierce, and rising fast, its Rajas grown rich on foreign trade and bound together by a powerful new faith. Tondo and Maynila have feuded for as long as anyone can remember, your Stark and your Lannister, separated by one stretch of water and 100 years of grudges. In the central seas sits Cebu, the great marketplace of the islands. Its Rajas are not the strongest warriors in the Isles, but they are the cleverest. They win their wars with silver, with marriages, and with whispered bargains. And they have outlived enemies far mightier than themselves. And just offshore, on a small and rocky island, lives the one chieftain no empire has ever broken, Lapu-lapu of Mactan. His lands are poor and his people are few, but they are warriors to the last child, and they would sooner die on their feet than kneel to any king. Every great power has tried to take Mactan. Every great power has bled for it. Far to the south, across the Sulu seas, rule the great sultanates of Sulu and Maguindanao, commanders of the largest war fleets in all the Isles. Bound by faith and by the sea, they are proud, untamable, and have never once been truly conquered. They are the realm's dawn, distant, dangerous, and best not provoked. And there is one house that remembers how all of this began. On the island of Panay live the descendants of the 10 datus, lords who, the legend says, once fled a cruel tyrant across the sea and bought a new homeland from its native chief in gold. They are the realm's founders in exile, and they have never forgotten that they too once ran from a burning kingdom. High above them all, in the cloud-wrapped mountains, live the highland clans of the Cordillera. For 1,000 years they have carved the mountainsides into vast stairways of rice that climb toward the sky. They keep the oldest ways, worship the oldest gods, and watch the lowland kings tear one another apart with grim satisfaction. They are the north that has never once bowed to a southern crown, and they intend to keep it that way. And somewhere out among the 1,000 islands, scattered, hunted, and half forgotten, survive the last of the Gold-Blood themselves, the heirs of Butuan, penniless princes and exiled princesses who have never stopped believing that the empty throne is theirs by right. They cling to a dangerous hope that the great beasts are not entirely gone, that one last serpent still sleeps in the deepest trench, and one last dragon still circles a far and smoking volcano, waiting for the blood that can wake them. And woven through every one of these kingdoms is magic. In this realm, true power does not come from steel alone. It flows from the spirit world, and its gatekeepers are the babaylan. These shaman priests, and they are almost always women, speak with the anito, the spirits of the ancestors, and bargain with the diwata, the gods of the rivers, the forests, and the mountains. A babaylan can call rain onto a dying field or curse an enemy fleet to the bottom of the sea. She can heal a poisoned prince or read a kingdom's doom in the entrails of a sacrificed boar. No Raja goes to war without one at his side. They are the meisters and the prophets of the Isles, all in one, and the wise king fears his babaylan almost as much as his enemies, and the greatest among them are feared most of all. A high babaylan can walk inside a sleeping man's dreams, call down a typhoon to scatter an invading fleet, or speak a person's true name and pull the soul clean out of them. The eldest, it is said, have spent so long among the spirits that they no longer wholly belong to the world of the living, half women, half something else, who answer to no king at all. But while the kings squabble over an empty golden chair, something far older is beginning to stir. The babaylan have started to whisper of a coming darkness, the Long Eclipse. For the oldest legends warn that when the Bakunawa rises to swallow the moon, and this time does not let it go, the thin wall between the living and the dead will finally break. And through it will pour the aswang, the shapeshifters, the eaters of the dead, the things that creep into a village wearing the face of someone you love. The babaylan have read it in the smoke and the entrails, and they do not lie about this. The eclipse is coming, and this time the moon will not return on its own. When the last light goes out, the dead will not stay buried, and all the spears and gold and beautiful banners in the Isles will not be enough to hold them back. Only the old blood and the last of the beasts might. The great houses believe the only war that matters is the war for the throne. They are wrong. The real war is the one coming for all of them at once. And the only thing that might stand against the long darkness is the scattered Gold-Blood of Butuan and the last living beasts of the sea and sky. So here is the world, 1,000 islands, a hollow golden throne, 8 proud houses, each certain that it alone should rule, witches who speak with the dead, serpents beneath the waves and dragons above the clouds, and a long, hungry darkness gathering just beyond the firelight. Here is the truth, and it is the strangest part of all. Every kingdom in this story was real. Tondo, Maynila, Cebu, Mactan, Sulu, Butuan, every one of them once stood, and every ruler I have named once lived and breathed on these islands. Only the magic and the monsters are ours to imagine. The Philippines never had its Game of Thrones. But oh, what if it had? Which house would you fight for? Tell me in the comments, and choose carefully. Winter never comes to these islands, but the eclipse always does.